to have your company for Freddy and the Eighth, and what a week we have ahead of us too. Two prelim finals, and it all kicks off on 8:30 Thursday night, a very special edition of the Footy Show, a special tribute edition to Jonathan Thurston, the man himself who's now heading off into retirement, and the commentary box for 9 this weekend as well. Andrew Johns, Brad Fittler, good to see you. You'll be there in Melbourne with us on Friday night for what'll be a massive game. So much to chat about today, gentlemen, in our second instalment of Freddy and the Eighth, but let's start with our fast five. Nathan Cleary, Ivan Cleary. They're all the talk again now the Panthers are out. Freddie, what do you make of this? Nathan reportedly set to re-sign to the end of 2023 and his dad from 2021 onwards.
Yeah, I don't know about making promises from 2021 onwards. A lot happens in between that time. But signing Nathan Cleary, I think given that he's come through that system, he's a fantastic young player. There's plenty of improvement in Nathan as well. But I think his base game of support, defence, just determination is better than anyone's nearly in the competition. So, whether he's a halfback, I still think he's mostly a better 5'8". But apart from that, he's a wonderful player, and they should keep him. The Ivan Cleary thing, I don't know. It's years away.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort to get the two together, isn't it, Joey?
Well, he's blue chip, isn't he, Nathan Cleary? There's no young halfbacks in the game. So they've developed him, they've getting him to play a certain way, they've moulded him into the player he is so far. So I can understand why they've unloaded and paid big money for him. I think the thing is, he came through junior footy in Auckland where there's weight divisions. That's why there's no halves coming through, because the younger guys, the young halves, the little halves, they're getting bashed out of the game, which is another argument for another time, but we need weight divisions. So there's more halfbacks. There's no halfbacks coming through. Tell me five good young halfbacks.
I'll tell you what the problem is. I think what I notice is as soon as young kids or little kids are up against big kids, all they do is panic. Instead of saying, righto, let's learn to kick and make them work and fatigue them.
I'm talking younger age. I'm talking
I've seen younger
8, 9, 10.
Yeah, I understand. I don't think
let's move on.
Yeah, one day we'll get there. They call it Fast Five for a reason, gentlemen. Let's get into the next topic. Sam Burgess, front and centre this week, Andrew. There's still ongoing investigation into this one. For off-field misdemeanours, should it mean on-field bans? We've seen it happen with Mitchell Pearce before.
No.
Well, that was a massive overreaction. I think, looking back on that, it was crazily overreacted on.
He got 8 games, didn't he, Mitch?
Oh, and about $100,000.
$125,000 fine because of the pressure the media put on the NRL.
Ridiculous. Okay. Anyway, there's a full story to come out. I think no comment needs to be made until the full story comes out.
As Sam said yesterday.
He's just got some explain to
And he says he's looking forward to the truth actually surfacing when it comes, hopefully the sooner rather than later. Let's get on to the next one, the Dragons. Brad, the last play option against the Rabbitohs, was it the worst play of the season, or was it actually on?
No, I reckon this pass was the worst play. That pass was, there was a 4-on-1, and you had people at the back, obviously, but that pass, he sort of give up on the play. I don't mind I could nearly handle the running, because of such a big overlap, but that just gave no one any chance to do anything. Ben sort of went, I'm out of time here. And I've got to say, when I looked at the South Sydney defence, it was fantastic. They all worked together, they all staggered perfectly, so they just forced him in a position where he just dished it off to someone.
Worst play of the year. Ridiculous. In that position, you kick the ball long, and you go to extra time, not golden point semi-final.
Yeah, extra time.
You go to extra time. Ridiculous play.
Joey, who should be the Test captain for the Aussie matches coming up? Should it be Boyd Cordner or Greg Inglis?
I think Greg. I think what Greg's done for the game, but also the way he played Origin this year, the way he inspired his teammates. And he looks in a really good headspace, Greg. So I think Greg. I think Boyd's time will come. I think it'd be nice for Greg to captain the country.
Boyd's only 26. I think Greg Inglis as well. Just watching what he does in defence. He comes flying in, tries to inspire his team. He knows when he has to raise the intensity, and he does it well.
Sam Ayub, Tyrone Peachy's manager, slamming the Titans. There's a bit of a war of words going on now, Brad, about this 3-year contract he signed at the start of this season to leave the Panthers and head to the Gold Coast that he wants out. He's built a house in Penrith, wants to stay with his family. He won't be staying at Penrith regardless. But how do you think this is all played out? Apparently the Titans shopping him around.
There's your problem in signing contracts in January when you've got to go there a year later. It's ridiculous. And I think if you sign a contract, you should go there. Simple as that.
Joey?
Totally agree. You sign a contract, you got to honour it.
But
it was good enough. It was good enough at the time. And
I don't think the manager can be saying anything. He's the one that sort of made sure he got the good deal from the Titans and thought he was all right. this is the time to go, Tyrone. They sat down, they would have spoke about it.
Does that include marriage certificates when you sign them? Can that be null and void?
He might have to pay the Titans $500 a week or something.
Where will this end up? Does Tyrone Peachey end up at a Sydney club or does he go to the Gold Coast?
Oh, I think
He has to go to the Gold
I
Coast.
just hope he goes to the Gold Coast.
You sign a contract and it's good enough for the time and you give your word and the Titans have structured their salary cap around Peach going there. You sign it, then you have to go. Simple as that.
All right, that's our Fast Five with 2,
That was fast.
1, 5 minutes up. Well done, gentlemen. All right, Joey, your top 5 from the week that was.
Yeah.
Rip in.
Well, my number 5 was Sam Burgess screaming at his younger brother. I don't know which one. I think it was the long-headed one.
I still can't work them out.
They combine. They butt heads.
George.
They've been doing this in the womb, so you can see Tom's the tougher. They've been doing this since they were in the mum's tummy. George is down. The best thing to come out of this, George gets rid of that haircut.
Yeah, they both shaved
his head. They both shaved it. Rabs is having kittens. And look at Sam. You can see he's the alpha male of the family, screaming at his brother.
Come on, lads.
Get back in the line, or you'll have to eat your vegetables tonight.
Nathan,
Nathan Cleary after the game, you can see how much it means. Sometimes I see teams lose. When they walk off the field, they don't know who's won or lost because everyone's smiling. You can see how close the family is there. Mum's crying. Brother couldn't give a rat's. But you can see, I love that about Nathan, that he cares. Number 3, Adam Reynolds, 3 field goals. Hasn't been done since 1971 when the St George Billy Smith kicked 3 goals. And they'll clutch field goals at important times.
Oh, a lot of pressure.
And this next one here, look at his off balance. He would have practiced this over and over. His whole momentum was going towards the sideline and he somehow found a way to kick a field goal. Great work by Adam Reynolds. And this machine here, the way he changed angles, gets in there clean Valentine Holmes, sprays him with Mortine, finds his Fijian mate on the outside Wanga blade. Look at this line, the way he changes angles.
What about how he caught in his left hand so he could palm with his right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's freakish.
Wait for
Absolutely freakish.
Gone. Bye, Val.
On the Harvey Norman replay. And my number 1 this week is Andrew Fafita. We all know Andrew can be a bit of a bullhead on occasions, and he admitted that. But this young fella, I think his name's Ryder.
Ryder, yep.
From the Ronald McDonald House. His parents are staying at Ronald McDonald House. And I think Andrew donated the money. So
Yep, he did.
For that small period, you can't imagine the stress on the family and also young Ryder, what they're going through. But that moment would have cleared his head and given not only him, but the family so much enjoyment. So Andrew Fafita, well done, mate.
Double bent. Your thumbs are bent. Double bent thumbs up.
Because you don't know where they've been.
Oh, man, I don't want to know. All right, from Joey's top 5 to Freddie's team of the week. I'm looking at it on paper here and, geez, they get better and better each week. Bradley.
We'll start at the fullback.
Very
Valentine
quickly.
Holmes. More for his kickoff. He did that kickoff and that ended up leading to the field goal. Fantastic. Fecky, McDonald, Inglis, talking about him inspiring with his defence. The Laffey was good. Moylan, defence awesome. Reynolds, 3 field goals.
Done.
What a champion. Damien Cook, Burgess and Fafita in the front row. Luke Lewis, he had a magical minute. Got knocked over, got up, got an error, got a restart, got a try. Then Kickow, the machine, and Cam Murray, just the speed in which he's playing at the
Imagine
moment.
fitting that on the salary cap. Could be the Roosters team next year.
It certainly could be.
Sorry, Nick.
Brad, we spoke to Adam Reynolds on 100% footy on 9 on Monday night, and Gus said to him he's playing better than he was in that 2014 Premiership year. He's your player of the week this week. Do you agree?
I don't remember how he was playing, but he was obviously playing very good. But he's just in control. Everyone's listening to him, and he's making good decisions. You can see just the composure. That ball was unbelievable. Just held it up. You know, he reacted to what the defence did. He had that time to react to the defence. Not many people have that in their arsenal where they can wait for the defence, react, and then act on it. And then the 3 ones. The good one here was, see how he sort of dummied left. Watch that. Even that left foot step, that just held, I think, the hooker Cam McInnes up that split second, which he would have nearly got to the field goal. It's all working well for him at the moment. It's going to be a harder team they're playing this week, the Roosters, so we'll see how he goes this week, but he gets him in a good position. My God.
All right, speaking of halfbacks, we've taken the opportunity this week to look at the halves that are left in the competition. Joey, how would you rank the number 7s, 4 through 1, that are remaining in this final series?
Well, number 4 for me is Brodie Croft. Young player still learning his trade. but there was a sign against South, this right on half-time.
Wow.
Right foot, took on Sam Burgess, and then backed himself to kick for Vunivalu. Don't see that from halves much anymore, just taking the line on, taking the big tide forward.
That part of the field.
Really tough play. Adam Reynolds, for me, the top three, I can't separate them. Adam Reynolds is in great form. His kicking game, we all know what a great kicking game he's got. I had him at number 3, just in front of Chad Townsend. I think he's taken his game to a new level. One thing with Townsend, he can play the structure, but he's got the ability to play outside the structure. His kicking game's sensational, kicked the winning field goal. I think he's very underrated. Now, I got Cronk number 1 because of his control, his kicking game, we know what he can do. But, this is a big but this weekend, Cooper struggles to play outside the structure. And in big games, you need sometimes some sort of flash of brilliance, which normally comes from Latrell, who won't be there. So this week, it all comes down to Tedesco. So I could maybe swap Townsend and Cronk around on current form, but I'll go with that because of what Cooper's done over his career.
Yeah, they're all going to play a key role in how their team goes this coming weekend. They're the 7s. Brad, what about the 6s? Your 5/8s from 4 to 1.
Righto, number 4, I've got Walker for the Bunnies. I don't know, it's more his defence that puts him in that position. He's on that left-hand side where they've had so much success. He's such a really good play, instinctive to watch. And I just feel, just at the moment, he's a little bit behind the others, but he's a fantastic player. Moylan, what I saw in his defence last week was incredible. He just, plenty of opportunities there to miss tackles, but he got involved in everything. He set up a try to Luke Lewis. He put a kick over to a corner. They laid on a try. Here's the Luke Lewis try. Beautiful set of hands there. Number 2, got Luke Keary. One of my favourite players, Luke Keary. Just he's in everything. I really like when he gets more ball on the left-hand side. He won't have Latrell Mitchell this week, but they won't be watching Mitch Orbo. It might be a good time for him to stand up. And my one at the moment is Cam Munster, mostly one of the better players in the competition at the moment. When I watched that game against South, he just was in everything, and he wanted everything, and everything he did, he was just attacking them, and it's so aggressive in his mindset. I just love the way he plays at the moment, Cameron Munster, so he's the number 1.
All right, there you go. The halves from 4 to 1, ranked by Freddie and Joey here on this program. Now, coming up, Freddie's going to tell us a tall tale from back in the day, but time to look at these prelims. The Sharks and the Storm, a replay of that 2016 grand final.
So Gallen, scrum base play, Barber. Barber scores. Chambers steps out of it. Chambers for the line. Chambers. He scores a grand final try. Here's Ennis now. Fafita tries to crash his way over. He does. Torabetti's put down. The siren sounds. Cronulla have won it.
Cronulla, premiers in 2016.
Yeah, what a match it was. What a rivalry it is now. I mean, amazing to think since that match the Sharks won there, they've won 4 of the last 5 between these two. Got a great record too in Melbourne against the Storm side that looks like this leading into the sudden death prelim, a grand final spot at stake. Keeping in mind the return of the big man on the bench, Nelson Asafa Solomona, and on top of that as well, Will Chambers back from suspension in the centres. It's a great looking Storm team, and Joey, they're rested, recuperated, 2 weeks off and ready to go.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if Nelson Asafa Solomona starts on the bench. I'd be starting him because the Sharks like to start really well. So I expect the big man on campus may be starting for Tim Glasby, but a well-rounded team. And you get the feeling in these big games, the spine's going to stand up. Slater, Cameron Munster and Cameron Smith in particular, they'll be incredibly hard to beat down there, especially being rested. But if one team can get under their skin, it's the Sharks. So I expect it to be tight.
And Billy Slater's last game in Melbourne too, Brad.
Yeah, Billy Slater's last game. I think last time he had one of those games they got beat, so we won't talk about that. But I've got to say South had the better of, I thought, Melbourne. There were some moments where Melbourne just come good, but in terms of field position and pressure, I thought South owned most of that game, and just the special players really stood up for Melbourne. Brodie Croft is going to have another big game. Like here, that try on half-time was the thing that turned everything. It was a great try. So, I think so far it's going to make a difference. Chambers obviously back will make a difference, but yeah, they're going to have to play better than they did against South.
Think about when you've won comps over the years. You have that luck where everyone's fit. I just get the feeling with the Sharks Gal's got that injury. Luke Lewis has
Yeah.
got the calf injury.
No
You just
Gallen.
need that luck. You
Or
need
whether
everyone
Gallen plays or not.
100% fit.
Yeah,
I
no,
like
mate,
those-
Graham.
I like their bench, Cronulla. I always look at the bench first. Sorensen, Seguiaro, Woods, Bakuya.
It's a good player,
Strong.
Bakuya. He
Yeah.
had that big run last week. Carried him about 25 metres.
With an injury like Gal's, are you thinking maybe not play this match because you could injure it and not play the grand
No.
final,
No.
or it's all or nothing,
No,
get him
all or
out there
nothing.
if he can play?
I think Takiaho for the Roosters is taking the approach he's playing and probably shouldn't play. I don't think Gallen will play.
They didn't have Josh Dugan in that lineup, so whether Josh Dugan comes in possibly for there's Latelli, or if he's going to play wing or centre.
Would you keep Ramian in the centres?
Definitely.
He's strong.
Yeah.
He's strong.
Josh Dugan scored that important try when they played in round 21. Remember he ran out of dummy half? Scored a really strong try. I give the Sharks a real hope because they'll get in the trenches. I think it'll only come down to a try by the Storm, but I think it'll be a really tight game.
Luke Lewis could be his last match as well. Another farewell for a champion. So either way, it's either Billy Slater or it's this man on screen who was in everything on
This is
Friday.
that magical minute he had. He had that, and then he got the loose ball, then he got the restart, then he scored the try. I think his injury is more of he's an old man. He's an old man injury, calf.
But is it an impact injury or is it a tear?
No. I think it was a cork.
Okay.
So he'll be right. He'll be fine.
He'll be good to go.
Gal's the one, and Gal's game, but he's,
Can they win without Gal?
yeah.
Definitely.
One of the key matchups, which is a beauty and always going to be, Billy Slater, as we say, in his farewell season, up against the informed Valentine Holmes.
He's a weapon.
Well, Billy Slater said earlier this week he'll be just watching where Val is because that's where you'll know where the Sharks are headed, Joey.
Yeah, because he provides all that X factor, Valentine Holmes. He gets on the right. He likes to play that outside-inside play, whether off Moylan or Luke Lewis. I thought Valentine Holmes was a little bit quiet last week against Penrith, so I get the feeling he's going to explode this week. And Billy Slater, I have Billy Slater in my top 3 players of all time. What a play. Changed the way fullbacks play. No doubt a future immortal. And I've got to say, a really unselfish decision to retire because I think he could have gone on for a couple more years, but he's obviously thought, you know what, I've had enough. I could go on and get all the money, but I'm going to look after myself and my family. So, well done, Bill.
So there you go. Friday night from 7 on 9, of course. On Gem leading into that, the Broncos and Warriors in the Women's Premiership. Gentlemen, a winner by how much and man of the match?
Only had a Storm, not by much. They'll win a close one.
Storm by 8 for me, Munster man of the match.
Storm by 4.
Man of the match?
Man of the match. Kafusi.
Okay, done. Don't forget that
Jeez, he was good.
big
last
weekend of footy kicks off with a special edition of the Footy Show,
2 weeks ago.
8:30 on Thursday night. A tribute show to the great Jonathan Thurston. Still so much more to come here on Freddy and the Eighth. We're casting our eye to the other preliminary final, the Rabbitohs and the Roosters. And gee, wasn't Adam Reynolds just remarkable last weekend?
This time, I'm pretty sure he's ready to go. Here he comes. Reynolds hits the ball, and he likes it. He's got it. It's 12 all. Oh, my God. He sets himself up. He takes the kick. He likes it again. He's a genius, this kid. He's kicked them to a 1-point lead with 15 to go on the clock.
Brilliant, wasn't it? 3 1-point finals from 6 matches that we've had in this final series. And, well, this one, the old rivals at Allianz Stadium, can they sell it out, the SFS? The final rugby league match to be held there. This is how the Roosters side looks. Keeping in mind, no Latrell Mitchell, no Dylan Napa, but they have had 14 days off, Brad Fittler, as we have a look at that classy-looking lineup.
Yeah, young. Lindsay Collins, Nat Butcher, Ryan Madison, Radley. You got a lot of youth there. Joseph Manu. It'll be interesting.
They've got enough points in them.
Well, it depends how they play. I think, Joseph Manu's a real weapon. I think he's been undersold a fair bit, and I think there's been a lot of talk about him. But I don't know if Greg's been getting caught out positionally, and his decision-making's been coming in, flying up and in. A lot of tries have gone past him, but when he's got a player like Joseph Manu, like we had James Roberts, if you give the ball early, Greg will make his tackles. You've got to sort of test that right-hand side and test his decision-making, not so much throw the ball early to him. Yeah, Kiri's got to come down their left-hand side. And I think Mitch Orbo's the sort of player. He hasn't got the strike of Latrell Mitchell, but what he is, he's a great finisher. If there's a try there to be had, Mitchell Orbison will score the try because he's fast enough. He's got really good balance.
Probably a better defender than the Trell too.
Yeah, he's a good defender. He'll do a good job.
The key for the Roosters is Cronk, how he controls the attack. We all know what a game manager he is, but whether they're prepared to play outside that structure, because you know what's coming with the Roosters. And if you can shut down, especially Cronk, and you can shut down Tedesco coming on that second wave of attack, but also Keary, then you can nullify him. So the big one is Cronk, if they can shut him down, and then Tedesco. Tedesco's, without doubt, he's the joker in the pack.
Well, that's the Rabbitohs team they're up against, who are ready and rearing after a win last weekend, albeit a close one. And the star power, it's clear to see there.
Well, look at the forward pack.
Yeah,
and we talk about who can play outside the structure. They got a two-prong. They got Damien Cook out of dummy half with his speed, which puts the tight defenders under all sorts of pressure. Then you got Cody Walker on the left side, a great instinctive player who can create something out of nothing. So there's a lot more threats for South Sydney, and it comes down to their forward pack. Look, their big strength is their forward pack, the size of their forward pack, but also it's their Achilles heel. You can keep the ball off them, they're very vulnerable to players like Tedesco.
Yeah, I thought they looked tired last week. They looked tired against the Dragons. I think everyone sort of anticipated they just sort of roll over the top, and the Dragons were excellent. I thought they were a little bit down, South Sydney, and
Do you think they were looking forward to the Roosters game next week?
I just think they're in the papers all week. It just tires you out.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting how Sam is this week. He got interviewed yesterday and he looked a bit tired as well, which was normal. So how much that affects their energy level, I think will determine how they go against the Roosters.
Two very different hookers going head-to-head this weekend, Joey. Damien Cook, how vital is he to the Rabbitohs if they are to upset the Roosters?
Well, he's one who can break out of their structure. Any quick play the ball, he just has to run. We saw last week.
Did you find they were a bit slow off him, Sal? They're all standing back. I thought he jumped out a lot, and
Look
they were all...
Look at their marker retreating. So the marker didn't jump and see him getting back and joining the defensive line. And then they all worked together to shut him down. Here it is. Any offload, he is so dangerous. But it's the ability, sometimes when he runs, that's when Reynolds and Cody Walker play their structured plays. So Souths are different to other teams. They go ad-lib to structure, where other teams go structure to ad-lib. So anything off Cook, the next play the ball is a worry.
So one of the big matchups across the park, really interested to see how Mitch Orbison goes up against Greg Inglis. We know he's played plenty of times in the centres before, Brad, but anyone up against GI in a prelim?
Well, it's their effect in the game. They're going to be on the opposite side. He'll play left centre, Mitch Orbison, I'd say, over with Luke Keary. Greg Inglis, I think the big thing that I've noticed is he just knows those moments when come in and try and when to be inspirational. You see on the weekend he come in and just whacked a couple of blokes in defence. He got to mark out a couple of big runs. I think that's going to be... They're going to need that against the Roosters. Mitch Orbe is just strong, solid. He'll do his job, and if you don't give him the attention that he needs, he'll score a try under you.
Can find a hole too, can't he?
He's a good player.
Brilliant. All right, so this matchup, who wins it by how much, Joe, and man of the match?
I've got the Roosters by one. There's going to be 8 field goals.
I'll go South by 2. Would you say Roosters? Is there any folding still going on?
Wouldn't surprise me. Allianz Stadium, the scene, the final one, rugby league match there before they blow it up. And, of course, the Roosters and Dragons, 5 p.m. on Gem in the Women's
I haven't
Premiership
looked forward to a game more than this game for a couple of years. I think since...
Who was your man of the match? Did you have a man of the match?
I'll go Damien Cook.
I'll go Keary.
I think Cronulla when they played in the grand final a few years ago, and also when South played in the grand final. But ever since then, this is the game I'm looking forward to the most.
All right, bring it on.
Good semis, actually.
Do they sell it out? Surely.
Surely.
Last time at Allianz...
Mate, I'm not going to complain about crowds. I'll tell you what, if you want to watch a good game of footy and be entertained, go to Allianz on Saturday night.
Wow.
What a great ground.
Well
You guys
sold.
have got plenty of good memories there too before they... Speaking of which,
Oh, yeah.
away from the prelims this weekend, bit of a finals flashback now. Joey, 1995, Newcastle Cronulla semi-final.
Yeah.
Wow.
What I remember from this game, day footy. It's nothing better.
Oh, yeah.
But Cronulla got out to a bit of a lead against us. Cronulla's team, pretty great team. You look at these games, how different it is, how fast and open. Yeah, I think they got to 2 or 3 tries lead. The ball bounces here and bounces into Paul Green's hand. Wow. Look what coaching does there.
Love the taper
Looks
in
quite
there.
angelic there. And then somehow we fight back. Adam Muir in this game had a howler. and one of the biggest games he's ever played for the club. Was just near unstoppable. And we end up winning by 1 point, and a bit of tokenism, I let Matthew kick the field goal. Give him 1 day in the sun. But
Would you win by a point?
Yeah, 1 point, I think. Robbie Ross scores the try.
E.T.
See, pretty boys do finish last sometimes. And then Matthew kicks the field goal. Yep. And then we win the game. I think we went on to play. Geez, no crow's feet there.
How good are those old jerseys too?
If I could just pull that bloke aside and say, future, just pull your head in. Don't be so much of a
Dick, please.
Me.
All right.
Behave yourself.
Good luck.
Yeah.
And that was what? Yeah, 2 years
I
later.
think we went on after
Champions.
that. We went and played Manly, and Manly beat us by 2 points. Then Manly got the grand final and got rolled by the Bulldogs. Remember
Bulldogs.
Manly, that team near went through undefeated.
3 years in a row, 95, 96, 97, they had great teams.
Yeah.
And they sort of...
They won 1. Yeah.
Wow, there you go. Nice to go back into the memory bank of Joey in 1995, that semi-final against the Sharks. Fred, it's your turn for a tall tale today.
Right, it was funny. I was talking to Royce Simmons, the great Royce Simmons, the other day. If anyone doesn't know Royce, he's about the same size as Joey.
No, he's not.
Bit shorter,
Mate,
a bit stockier.
I'm 6'1".
Oh, please.
I got
Anyway,
Tom Cruise's shoes on.
we're at a sort of barbecue. I was at St Mary's, just at a cricket field, and we're having a beer. This is all just before the season had started. And I remember Cardi saying to Royce, "Mate, over 100, I'd beat you with 20 star." And Royce said, "Righto, you fat thing." "Righto, I'll race you." So right at the end of the night, it was dark. Royce got on the 20-metre line and Cardi got on the try line. And they took off. And Royce just put his head down, mate. Just like that, just run as hard
Barney
as he can.
Rubble,
Yeah. And Cardi, after about 10 metres, realised he wouldn't catch him and just stopped. But Royce wouldn't stop. He just kept going, just sprinting. All the way, he ran through the 100-metre and hit the fence, hit the paling.
Forrest Gump, straight out of the ground.
Straight, one of those, the fence, just pole.
Yeah, I know the one.
So he hit it and just folded fully. Legs went in the air. His body went
Too good.
bang, just folded in half. Anyway, so we had to go. We went to train, and it was 2 days later training. And he'd had these 2 big lumps are in his guts. So he used to go to the strapper and just say, "Just strap me guts." I can't say what's happened.
Right.
The coach, Tim Sheens, would kill him. So he used to get strapped for 2 weeks, and then what he had was 2 hernias. He did a double hernia.
No.
And he got strapped up for 2 weeks to train and play. And then after they went to our doc and said, "Oh, Doc, I think I've done an injury during the game." The doc laughed at me.
Too good.
Too high energy.
Oh, listen, and he's still hanging around the Panthers too. Was there a few weeks
So
ago? He's in the
other day,
gym.
He's the best.
Oh,
He's
the best. Nice one, Fred. Hey, we've survived it. We've survived 2 weeks. We're back next week for another edition of this too. Yeah, what a weekend we have ahead of us though. Good way to kick it off. Special edition of the Footy Show, a Jonathan Thurston tribute special, 8:30 Thursday night, and then the 2 prelims from 7 p.m. on 9, the Storm and the Sharks, and then the Roosters and the Rabbitohs. We will catch you next week ahead of the decider.